another hugely anticipated model. Hello everyone, welcome back to DCC Sodor. Today we're going to be taking a look at Bachmann's rendition of Ryan the Purple Tank Engine. Let's get him out of the box and see what he's like. So as typical with a lot of Bachmann's packaging, we've got the blister that holds them in the peg blister packaging, and then just slides out and onto the track he goes. So I have switched the layout over to DC for this review, as I do not yet have a decoder for Ryan. Let me slide it down here, and let's take a look at some of his detailing. So Ryan has quite a bit of separately applied detailing. He's a little, I'll say he's in first hand, he's a little lighter than I would have hoped he would have been. I do like that he's got brake shoe detailing on the bottom. And again, he's got the molded piping here, which I do wish could have been like molded as a separate piece, I feel like, and added on later. Is he does have like these handrails here separately applied. I believe this safety valve piece up here is as well, and these two pipes. Of course, his brake pipes and the lamp irons and his lamp are all separately applied. He's got some nice rivet detailing on the front buffer beam. Nothing on the back, but does have a nice separately applied lamp. See-through cab, although there's not much room to put figures in there. So overall, he's got this little thing on behind his funnel and some more rivet detailing. Nice Ryan nameplate and some excellent printing detailing all over. The lining and all over is quite complex, and he looks really good because of that. So as you can see on the back as well, he's got a nice loose bogey. I believe in reality that would have been attached to the frame. I'm not sure. So there's Ryan. I'm starting off with this video doing a new kind of style when it comes to the reviews. So we're gonna take a look at a little bit of history on Ryan. Ryan was introduced in the 2015 special, Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure. He came to run the new branch line that was introduced, the Harwick line. So we got Daisy and now we have Ryan. So the two of them can travel on the Harwick branch. And so Ryan is considered, I think he's considered a fan favorite. I know a lot of people like him. I'd say he's a little bit of more of a naive locomotive. He's a little more gullible than most. Not quite like Paxton, but Daisy has manipulated him in some episodes to do her work, and he's learned from that. Let's take a look at the face too while we're at it. I personally really like Ryan. I think he's a really cool character. Unique with this purple livery. I love the face that they gave him. It just looks great. I'm not a huge fan of the couplers they've used on him. They're like absolutely enormous. And I'll definitely be taking at least the front coupler off. So yeah. That's about it about Ryan, a little bit here and there. I'm gonna get him running. We're gonna start off on DC power. I'm just gonna slowly turn up the knob here. We're about 20%. You can hear the motor starting to growl. No, not the smoothest at first, but maybe after a little bit of running in, he'll be all right. Some other details about Ryan that I really like are the gold crank pins that he's got. Sure is noisy though. So we'll check him out again as we go by, and maybe I'll take some shots as he's running in. And it's a little hard to see, but he's got those nice gold crank pins like he does in the show. So yeah, let's see Ryan doing a couple laps around the layout. All right, I'm going to let him finish running in here. And then we'll get on to the next part of this new review, which is the scoring. All right, he's done maybe a lap or two in reverse. I'll get him, I'll keep warming him up, running him in, letting him do his thing. But I did want to go over my new scoring system. So we have 8 categories that I can score in. We have packaging, detail, power, DCC, running quality, NMRA compliance, quality, and value. So I think packaging, that's pretty packaging, detail, power, they're pretty self-explanatory. DCC, that means is it DCC ready? How easy is it to convert? And how many different types of decoders could you possibly fit into him? Running quality, pretty obvious. NMRA compliance, I have my handy dandy NMRA gauge, standards gauge, and as long as he meets most of these, I'll give him a pass. Quality, now that's different from running quality. So running quality just looks at how does the motor perform, how are the slow speeds on it, that kind of thing. Quality is the overall quality. How's the weight? How's the pull? It kind of goes hand in hand with the pulling power. How durable is it? How are the details? Are the details falling off? Is there any quality issues out of the box? Things like that. Value. Now, value can be subjective. So I will try to keep it subjective, but, based on how much decoration does this model have, die-cast chassis, die-cast frames, things like that, those will be factored into that value score. So, for Ryan, packaging, well, we all don't like Bachmann's blister packaging, so I'm going to give that, any Bachmann packaging will be a 5 out of 10 because at least you can see it, but at the same time, I really wish we had a box because it's a pain to have to keep all this blister packaging. Detail, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 for this. He's got nice molded detail, really nice separately applied details. But I just, wish that certain details such as these pipes here were better. Power, I have not tested the pulling power yet. I will come back to that one. I'll actually splice in a clip here instead about the power. All right. So here's a decent test. Ryan is slipping a little bit, so I'm not going to run him for too long like this. But I'll give a figure of how many cars that was. Just about 20 cars, which is actually, in my opinion, pretty decent for a Bachmann engine, especially a tank engine. So I'm actually, just considering his size and his weight, he's actually a very light engine. I'm actually going to give him a 9 out of 10 on that one for pulling power. DCC capabilities. I'll post some pictures here of me opening them up and telling you all about that. But I have looked at the exploded parts diagram. It doesn't look too difficult, but I may say otherwise in a clip right here. Alright, so I'm currently editing this video, and while I'm doing that, I figured I'd give you a better quick look at the mechanism. Yeah, I do not like these Bachmann motors here. They're these kind of open frame, I think they're only 3 polos. They're not very good, but I don't know, he performs pretty well considering. There's also this circuit board, which was actually screwed in. Right, with that screw, which you cannot get to unless you unscrew all these screws at the bottom, take the gearbox cover off, then re-screw it back in. And it's not really my favorite design. So I'm going to give this actually a 6 out of 10 for DCC. I mean, other than that, it's not hard. I don't know why they did that. Could have made things so much easier doing it a different way. But yeah, so back to past me as I finish this video. Running quality. He's a little noisy, but I thoroughly think that he's a pretty nice and smooth runner so far. I bet with some more running in, he'll be much better. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 there. You know, a little bit of noise, but could quiet down with some more running in. NMRA compliance. So I'm going to do this on camera. First thing I'm going to do is take out our handy dandy coupler height gauge and see that, oh, wait, sorry. I'm going to take a look at Thomas actually, because Thomas, you know, we'll see how the coupler heights match up. And on Thomas, I would say I'm going to use Thomas as my standard for all the Thomas and Friends items, that everything lines up perfectly. Oh man, coupler stuck together. And I'm actually going to cut right here, and I'll be back in just a minute. All right, now I'm back. Got my little NMRA tool. I'm going to check and see that all the wheels are in gauge according to the NMRA standards gauge. And you know, this is also a good way to check. He's definitely going to clear everything. So let's move on to quality. I mean, it's a Bachmann model, so it's okay. I actually got some pictures here showing the underneath the mechanism. He's got some wired in pickups, but they aren't held in by the base keeper plate. So it works out, but unfortunately he does not have turned metal brass bearings, which, you know, is a good feature to have. I just don't like it. If they would have had, like, not riding in square pockets in the chassis like it does, then that would make things much better in my opinion. But unfortunately, that's what they chose to do. It also has a big chunky motor, which I'll also show a picture of. So I'll give the quality another 7. Value, is he really worth $130? So I paid $130. MSRP is $200, although if you pay for Bachmann's MSRP, you're crazy. Don't ever do that. Pay what your local shop charges, and if they charge MSRP, then I would not suggest buying from that shop. I have seen Ryan as low as 110, which is a little more reasonable. I feel like that a lot of this comes from all the extra details they added, which is fine. I think I'm going to give Ryan another 7 there. So all in all, we'll have some of the scores, show up on screen when we've got the power and the DCC compatibility. And I'll give him a full rescore, and I'll come back in the voiceover and we'll talk about that for a little bit while Ryan runs, and we'll see him pull some cars. Okay, so I gave Ryan a 57 out of 80, which is a 71.25%, which is a C- on a report card. I still recommend this model. I think, he's got his shortcomings, but if you're looking for a locomotive that represents Ryan, and you don't want to go overseas and buy an actual N2 model and butcher it to create a Ryan, then this is the perfect way to do so. So, I'll throw it back to myself to finish out and conclude this video. And there we have it. That is Ryan. So overall, he's a pretty good model. I think he has his shortcomings, but then again, most models do. I think Daisy still takes the ticket for Bachmann's best model, in my opinion. But Ryan's up there. Obviously, I've talked about his score already. So yeah, if you're wanting to expand your Thomas and Friends collection, then Ryan is certainly one way to do so. I've noticed that his eyes kind of jitter and jolt sometimes, so they're not quite perfect. Might be a new design. I don't know. I haven't opened them up yet at the time of filming this outro, but yeah. So I still recommend Ryan. And stay tuned for a DCC conversion video coming shortly. And I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks, and goodbye.